When I was going through a huge level up, I feel like it was really hard for me to find books written by authors that looked like me and could speak to some of the things that I was going through. So I made this list of books that'll help you glow up your mindset, your money, and your life that are all written by Black authors. So hey y'all, if you're new here, my name is Be Me Queen, where I talk about Black owned books, and today we are getting into all the books that you're gonna need to level up your life in 2024. Before we even get into the books, I want to make sure you guys know that you cannot passively read these books. So some of the books I'm gonna go through, I have highlighted, I have written in, I have annotated, and that is because that helps me actually apply what I learned from the book. So make sure you get a journal alongside these books when you order them, because that is the only way you're actually going to apply it. You can read all you want to, but if you don't apply it, it's not going to actually be helpful for you. The first book I'm going to talk about is Seen, Heard, Paid, and it's written by a Black male author. This book came out, I think, over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, but it is specifically for Black people that work in corporate or just white collar jobs that want to learn how to level up their career in a corporate space. I feel like there are very, very few books that actually talk about this, and even if you don't work in corporate but you work a 9-to-5 job, it can still be really helpful for you in that way. But it talks about how you can ask for a raise, how you can negotiate your salary, how to find a new job, how to set up your LinkedIn account so you can actually find all these opportunities. It talks about how to network in spaces where there aren't people that look like you. It talks about how to manage your time with your job, so balancing your life outside of work while also, you know, climbing a corporate ladder, or just finding jobs that fit with you. So even if you aren't someone that is looking to stay in a corporate position for your entire working career, the book is really, really juicy. And what I like about it the most, it starts out with this fact that most corporate folks do not have Black friends. So therefore, when they write these books about how to survive corporate and how to, you know, navigate the workspace, it just doesn't apply. Like, you have to move differently being a Black person in those spaces, especially if there is anyone in the space that looks like you and can give you advice to help you navigate that space. So the book does a really, really good job of talking about how you can do all of those things. I had a copy of the book, but I'm pretty sure I gave it away in a giveaway, but I annotated the crap out of that book. And to be totally honest, I did not work in corporate, but I did work in academia, and academia and corporate kind of go hand in hand, just one has science and the other one doesn't. So it was very applicable to what I was going through at the time, and it was really, really good. I have read some other corporate books that are written by Black people giving advice, but I feel like a lot of those books were outdated, and Seen, Heard, Paid is the most up-to-date, very fresh, very great ideas. It really applies to people in the younger millennial / Gen Z age, because a lot of us don't want to spend our lives at the same job for the rest of our lives. Like, a lot of people do job hop, there's nothing wrong with that. So that book addresses that, and also how you can get your bag while you are looking for a job, because that's what we're all here for, right? So I really like that book a lot. It really helps the corporate folks. So if that is you, definitely check out Seen, Heard, Paid. So the next book I want to talk about is We Should All Be Millionaires. This is written by Rachel Rodgers. So I've talked about this book before in other videos, but just to give you a quick synopsis. So Rachel Rodgers is a woman entrepreneur, and she now earns like over $300,000 a month in her business, like a month. And she's in a group of other Black women entrepreneurs who are doing the exact same thing. So that is how she got my attention in the beginning, right? I'm like, okay, now my ears are open. What you got to say? And this book gives you a lot of advice and encouragement on how to be a Black woman entrepreneur, but specifically how to change your mindset to do those things. She is a mom, and she's also a wife, and she was also growing her business. Her business saw an incredible boom from 1 year she earned $60,000 in her business, and then the very next year she had earned over $300,000 in her business. So she talks about different $1 million money moves that she made and broke people moves. And I love that she gives that comparison, because a lot of people will think like, oh, I have to do everything to be a successful entrepreneur. Wrong. That is not what you do. You actually have to delegate and hire people that'll allow you to make more money in your business. So she talks about that. She also gives you a lot of tangible advice. And even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, but you want to have a little side gig, you know, like a little something on the side, she does talk about how you can do that in your side gig. So it is written for women, Black women entrepreneurs, but you can also use it if you are just doing a side gig and you want to grow your side gig to, you know, bring a little bit more extra income. So that's pretty cool. What I like about it at the end is that she gives you a challenge to make $10,000 in 10 days. And if you're watching this, you're like, what in the world? That is so much. And it is, depending on where you are in your entrepreneur journey. But she really is trying to teach you how to train your mind to see money opportunities as opposed to money costs. I love this book a lot. I highlighted up and down and all through this book. I've talked about it so many times on this channel. It is worth the read. Buy the book because you're gonna reread it because it's worth it. It is so worth it. Just get the book. This is Lead from the Outside, and this is written by Stacey Abrams. So this book is specifically written for minorities that are in leadership positions. So even if you are an entrepreneur but you have a leadership position in your job, or you want to get into a political leadership position, if you are a leader in any way, shape, or form, this book is for you. Similar to Seeing Her Paid, it talks about how to navigate different spaces, specifically white collar spaces if you are a minority. And she uses the word minority throughout the book, so that's my only complaint about it. However, it is really, really great info. So she gives you a lot of like sneak peek tips on how to get through in the space, but also how to maintain your own mental sanity. So I love that a lot because this is one of the few books that talks about maintaining your mental health and having safe spaces mentally for yourself outside of your workplace while also being a leader of a group. So if you have led any type of group or even like a group project in class, there is a lot of responsibility that comes to you. But when you are a Black person being the leader, you get additional responsibility as well as additional pressure. So Stacey Abrams addresses that really, really well. I love how this book is written. It isn't really like step-by-step advice, but it's more of like grander schemes and different concepts that you should think about and see how you can apply it to your everyday life. So one of the examples that she talks about is making friends with the staff around you. So if you're working in a white collar space, there are very few opportunities for you to actually see people that look like you. And if you do, they're probably the staff, like the janitorial staff, or their security, something along the lines. And she says that you should make friends with those people because those people are gonna have your back. And let me tell you, I read this a few years ago and I started to implement that into my life, like when I was in academia, and so useful. I made friends with the cafeteria ladies at the cafeteria that I used to walk past every day, and they literally used to give me like free bags of chips, like free, you know, juice, free water, stuff like that. Like small things, but like really comes in handy, especially on the days where I didn't pack lunch or when I didn't have any snacks. I love Stacey Abrams' advice. I thought that was a really, really great book. Cannot recommend it enough. The next book is called Get Good with Money, and this is by Tiffany Aliche. I've talked about this book so many times on this channel. So many times because it's that good. If you see, I have all these tabs in the book because she tells you step by step how to get your finances together. So if you're in debt, if you're in student debt, if you're trying to buy a home, if you're trying to make a big purchase of any sort, if you want to just have an emergency fund and become financially whole, if you want to build your retirement fund, she addresses all of it. And what I like about this book is that she addresses it from a 9-to-5 perspective. So if you work at a 9-to-5 job, but she also talks about it under an entrepreneur perspective. And a lot of Black owned books don't really talk about both of them. I think Tiffany does a really great job of talking about both within the chapter. And the way she instructs you to become financially whole is through different percentages, right? The first step is to make a budget. The second step is to do this. She also has a special on Netflix. I still haven't watched the whole thing. I like the book a lot better. I also like her podcast a lot. It's called Brown Ambition. It's really good. Anyway, this book is something that I will reread over and over again because it's that good. Like I said, I've annotated it. I have my little markers here. I've highlighted it throughout the book as well. So you can definitely see that I put use to this book. I cannot recommend this enough. This is very tangible advice. So a lot of money books will talk about like, oh, make a budget, but they don't say how. Tiffany tells you how exactly to do that. I love that about her book. She also makes it very relatable to where you can understand it in her terms, which are terms that a lot of Black people understand. So I like that a lot. I think she makes money very approachable. I love reading money books, if you can't tell. So this one is a really good book. It's definitely top of my money book recommendations. So the next book is called Your Next Level Life. And this is a very, very short read, but it is very powerful because it helps you change your mindset to how you want to live in your new life. So in your glow up era. I like this book a lot because it really just gives you the confidence to go after your dreams. So the author talks about how she did off the wall things that just didn't make any sense to people around her, but she believed that she could manifest whatever she wanted in her life, and she did so. In the book, she gives you 7 different steps on how to manifest life of your dreams, and it's not really a manifestation book, but it's just to get you thinking about what you want for your life and how you could potentially go about it. As an example, she wanted to start a nonprofit organization and she had no idea where to start, but she was like, I'm gonna start this nonprofit and I know I need money, but I don't really know how to do it. Next day she was scrolling on one social media site or website or something, and she came across an application for people that were starting nonprofit organizations, and it was due in hours, a few hours from when she found it, and she was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna apply. So she applied, ended up winning the funds, and was able to start her nonprofit. Super cool, but also a really great story to encourage you to do something of your own and how to bring in the things that you want in your life. So this can be applied to literally anything. So your career, your love life, your job, or your platonic relationships, literally anything. I have used this just as encouragement. I did read this in a physical copy. I ended up giving it to a friend and I never got it back, I guess because it was that good. But I could not recommend enough. It's a really short read. Like, you can read this in the bathroom while you're on the toilet. It's really not that long. Again, it's another book where you have to really take the advice from the book and start to apply it, because if you don't apply it, it's not going to be worth anything. Last but not least, and this is my favorite book out of all of them, this one is the Manifestation Journal. So this is a little journal that I got on Amazon, and I came across this, I don't remember how, but somehow it was in my recommendations and I was like, yes, I'm gonna buy it. So this book very briefly talks about manifestation, but it really is a journal to talk about all the things that you want to do and how you can bring them into your life. So there's a section on gratitude journaling and the law of attraction, how to attract that into your life. And then it also will give you different prompts to write about things. It'll give you different scripting techniques. It also gives you like a mood tracker and a habits tracker. So I love this book so much. So at the beginning, it has a bunch of charts you can fill out. So I got this book in 2021. In the beginning of 2022, I did a page a day in the morning. I just started my day, my morning routine. I wrote a page a day from this journal. And by the end of 2022, I got everything that I manifested in this book, which is really crazy. It's actually insane. Like, people that don't know about manifestation or just aren't familiar with it, don't know how to apply it into their lives, like, this is literally for you. It is so well thought out and so spelled out. Like, this is definitely a beginner manifestation journal. I love it so much. I want like the next level up. I haven't found it yet, but I just love that it just has all these different prompts in here. So this one says, answer the prompts below. The questions are, where do I see myself in 1 year? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Where do I see myself in 10 years? It is so crazy because I actually, on every single page, I dated when I wrote it. The next year, like literally by the end of 2022, I saw it come into my life. So this is a game changer. I cannot recommend it enough. I will link this in the description so you can get one for yourself. Everything else I will also link in the description, but those are my Black-owned books that will help you level up your life for 2024. So let me know what books you are most interested in buying in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.